Octopussy is the sixth Roger Moore James Bond film, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this movie. If you want to check out my reviews for the previous Bond films, I'll have a playlist up you can click on and go check those videos out. As well, if you've seen this one, be sure to leave a comment of what you thought of this movie, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get into this review. So for me, Octopussy is a pretty meh James Bond movie. There's not a whole lot going for it in my opinion, except for the action. I think the action when it's there is actually pretty fun. There's some fun sequences with the action, some nice chase scenes. But other than that, there's really not much praise I can give this movie. Roger Moore is again giving a good performance in this role, but he's definitely starting to look a little too old to be playing Bond. I think this, either the fifth one or this one, was meant to be his last film, but he was convinced to continue on and he ended up doing 7 films. But in this one, you can tell he's getting older. He just, I don't know, to me he didn't look like he was the right age anymore. He was still giving a good performance, but definitely getting older. The villain in this is pretty forgettable. It's sort of like the plot of this movie. They're not particularly memorable. There's a jewel smuggling plot. There's a plot with this Russian general wanting to blow up a military base so they can invade. Yeah, that's fine, but the way it was executed in this movie just wasn't memorable at all. And the villain as well, the main villain, is just sort of there. He's fine for the movie. The actor does a good performance, but the villain himself is just very forgettable compared to a lot of other Bond villains. The henchman in this as well, pretty forgettable. Just a big, tall, silent person. Nothing particularly memorable. The Bond woman herself, Octopussy, is just fine. She's okay. She does what she needs to do in this movie, but nothing particularly memorable. Which pretty much everything other than some of the action for me is all just serviceable enough but not memorable. That's pretty much this whole movie for me. I don't dislike it as much as a lot of people do, but it's still like a bottom tier Bond film for me. It's just, it's forgettable. It's definitely got some goofier moments. The really well known part is when Bond is in a clown costume. For me, sure it's kind of silly, but it's not the goofiest thing, because when in the context of the film you sort of understand why he's in that clown costume. He's in disguise trying to hide from people. So sure, there's other parts that for me were just, they were smaller parts but goofier than that, and they were when he was being chased through this jungle and a tiger jumps in front of him. He just tells the tiger to sit and he's fine, he can get away. And then when people are looking for him, they don't know where he is, he just does the Tarzan swing and that Tarzan call through the jungle, which was really goofy, not to mention it sort of let everybody know who is trying to kill him where he was. So that was weird. Things like that are just like really goofy. There's a lot of small moments like that there where it's getting goofier, especially compared to the last one, which for a Roger Moore film, the last one was a lot more grounded. This one definitely starting to get goofier again. Some of it was fine, some of it worked, some of it you could laugh at a bit, but overall it was just, yeah, they went for the goofiness again, and this story was just forgettable. This movie's not great. The action, like I've said a couple times, is fun. There's a fun scene on a train in the last act of this movie where they're fighting on top of the train or Bond's hanging on at the side. That was fun. There's also a fun sort of action sequence at the end of the movie on a plane. That was pretty decent, I thought. Yeah, that's mostly it. The opening scene's pretty fun too. So yeah, there's fun action in this. The action is what holds this movie up for me, and Roger Moore's performance, while he does look a little old now, his performance is good. That's what sort of carries this movie. Whenever I watch him, like, there's elements of fun in it, but it's just pretty forgettable. So for me, while I don't dislike it the same way a lot of people do, it's definitely a movie that I think it's watchable. I have no problem watching this movie, but it's one that by the day after I've watched it, I'm going to forget most of the stuff that's happened in this movie. It's just really forgettable, besides a few fun action scenes. So for me, I would give Octopussy a 58%. So guys, be sure to let me know what you thought of this movie. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and be sure to stay tuned for some more videos coming out shortly. I should have a review up for the first season of Modern Doctor Who out on the weekend, so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for some other reviews coming out very shortly. And until my next video, take care everybody.